story of Moses, the birth of Moses. When there was a bad harvest in Canaan, Jacob and his family moved to Egypt by the help of Joseph. The land of Goshen, where the Israelite family moved to, was not like their hometown. But it was such a good area to take care of their family and their livestock because of enough water. As time goes by, Jacob passed away. Joseph and his brothers buried their father in their homeland, but they did not return to there. At first, just 70 family members moved to Egypt, but a few generations later, they increased so much that the land was filled with the Israelites. Hundreds of years later, the book of Exodus begins with the story of an Egyptian king who did not know Joseph, who saved Egypt from severe drought. The king became afraid of Israelite people because of their number. The Israelites have become too numerous for us. If war breaks out, they will attack us. Finally, he thought that if only they oppressed the Israelites, their population would reduce. So he said to his people, "Deprive the Israelites of their freedom and poverty. Impose them heavy labor. Send them to the construction site." Israelites' life became weary. But the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread. The oppression of the Egyptian king intensified more and more. Then Pharaoh gave this order to all his people: "Every newborn Hebrew boy you must throw into the Nile." At that time, there was an Israelite couple. They got married, and the wife gave birth to a son. They hid the baby for a few months despite the king's order, but as time went by, the boy grew up, and they could no longer take care of him. Eventually, they had to follow the king's command. But the baby's parents could not throw their son. They got a papyrus basket for him and coated it with tar and pitch. Then they placed the child in it and put it among the reeds. Can you imagine the sorrow and sadness the parents would have felt? The baby floated away. He could not survive by himself like the Israelite people that were suffering in Egypt. Something amazing happened. Pharaoh's daughter found the baby in a basket when she went down to the Nile to bathe. She felt so sorry for him. She pulled out the baby and named him Moses, saying, "I drew him out of the water." To avoid famine, the Israelite people went into Egypt for themselves, but they could not escape from there on their own. They were merely ones who had to live in suffering and ones who disappeared unless somebody else saved them. But our God saves the Israelite that was like Moses drifting on water. He saves the people through the very baby Moses. God heard the moaning of the Israelite people and still pays attention to the voices of the ones in agony.